Hey, Winston, don't ever talk to me or my son again. Eh? Eh?
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response.
How am I supposed to entertain people with that attitude?
Still not responding.
You know, it's still technically a response. Remind me to loosen your nuts next time I give you an upgrade. Greetings, fellow Voyagers. I am Captain R.L. King of the SS Artifice, and welcome to the Voyages, where I discuss science fiction media and the weird thing my brain notices about them. So what's today's subject?
OOGA CHAKA, OOGA, OOGA, OOGA CHAKA, OOGA, OOGA, OOGA CHAKA, OOGA, OOGA, OOGA CHAKA. I'm hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing.
Guardians of the goddamn Galaxy. Who doesn't love this movie? It just has it all. Great characters, beautiful visuals, a fantastic soundtrack, everything except comic accuracy. Because there's no way you're going to sell toys of this thing. However, I noticed a weird trend in the discussion revolving around Guardians of the Galaxy. Did anyone else notice the word risky getting thrown around a lot? Why, Guardians of the Galaxy is the riskiest film since Iron Man. Guardians of the Galaxy, risky but right. Marvel makes big risky choices. Marvel takes a risky venture once again. 10 riskiest movies of 2014. Like, this is ridiculous. Were you all handed the same notes on what to say? Is journalism now part of a secret hive mind where we see a talking animal and yell, RISK? I mean, not to break your spirit, but talking animals are not new. Honestly, the more common thread I've noticed in these articles is that the risk is because nobody knows who the Guardians of the Galaxy are. They're not popular characters to build a franchise with. Well, I don't know if you remember what it was like 10-15 years ago, but nobody knew who Iron Man was. Thor's the Swedish god with the hammer or the screwdriver or whatever, right? Captain America is like Superman, but even lamer, I think. Nobody cared who these guys were. Nobody cares now. And you might think that sounds ridiculous, but we do not care beyond the movie. We like Chris Evans pulling down helicopters. We do not care about these comic book things. I know, because they made Captain America a Nazi twice because he's not selling enough books. If you're one of the people still buying comics because the character is deeply personal to you, you're one of like 10,000 people? I could find 10,000 people to support eating babies to make you live longer. Marvel's got two big names to sell, Spider-Man and Wolverine, and they only just now got the chance to sell one of those characters in a movie. If the bar set at no one cares about the character, then anything Marvel does is a risk. And even with all of this in mind, we're doing it again! So yeah, not gonna be talking much about the content of Guardians of the Galaxy, more about our reactions to it as a culture. I personally believe that any piece of art has two sides, the objective and the subjective. The objective is the thing itself, the movie, book, painting of a soup can, whatever it is. This is objective. It is a thing that unquestionably exists as it is. The rest of it is subjective. This is our interpretation of the work, how it makes us feel, what it makes us think about, and how we talk about it with each other. So this is why I take umbrage with the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy was risky. Our reaction is half of art. So what do I think would be risky? Well, when watching the movie, I noticed that it not only participated in a weird trend, but it seemed to actively cling to it. Let me ask you, why are we so afraid to leave Earth? Now, I obviously don't mean the planet Earth. We leave that all the time, but we refuse to release the tether from our culture. No matter when the movie takes place or what galaxy it's in, we cannot have a main character that isn't human. Even with movies like The Iron Giant or District 9 or Avatar, where we're expressly meant to identify and empathize with aliens, they're still secondary to the white dude. Hell, Guardians is so afraid to leave Earth, its most famous motif is constantly reminding the audience of Earth in the 1970s.
Hooked on a feeling. Blue Swede. 1973. That song belongs to me. Hooked on a feeling.
So you know how people thought this movie was so risky because of its talking raccoon and his best friend, a tree that only knows one sentence? The risk wasn't there. We've empathized with giant bug men. You know what might actually be risky? Making Groot the main character.
There's another name you might know me by. I'm Groot.
So that's what I consider a risky premise for a movie, but even then I don't know if I consider that a risky movie. Because true risks in filmmaking come from making the wrong decisions. Picking the wrong director, the wrong writer, editor, actors. When you make the wrong choices, you make a risky movie because they're risking the movie being bad. Because then it won't make money. And sure, plenty of good movies don't make money, but they aren't on the same level financially as Guardians was. When a movie is on that level and it flops, it's certainly not because it's a weird story. Batman fighting Superman should be a guaranteed hit. Nope. Epic action movie set in ancient Egypt? Not when it looks like hot garbage. A remake of the classic Ben-Hur? Not when everybody white. But a found footage movie about an abused kid who gets superpowers and goes crazy written by a controversial writer? Sure, because it kicks ass. Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't risky because Marvel hired all of the right people to make it. And I think saying any movie idea is inherently risky is doing a disservice to the people who pour their time and their energy into making the movie as good as it can be. Our discussion about movies can be more nuanced than this. We should be discussing the execution of talent in our movies. We should be discussing theming and imagery and cultural impact. Not that a movie shouldn't work because we taught a tree to conjugate a verb.
We are
I did it a little bit earlier when I said it's afraid to let its audience leave Earth. It's not hard to do, but it's a criticism that goes beyond the surface of the film. It requires us to actually think about the media we put into our brains. The only way filmmaking is going to keep getting better is if we choose to discuss it in ways that go beyond base-level thoughts and nitpicks. It's what I hope to do with this show. Get us thinking and discussing media beyond the superficial. So let's do it. Fellow Voyagers, thank you so much for checking out this video. I really hope you liked it. I would like to revisit Guardians of the Galaxy at some point in the future, but I thought this was the more important point to make first. If you'd like to stay updated on the show, hit that subscribe button, click here to see the latest episode, or here to see what YouTube thinks you would like, because I trust robots. Farewell everyone, and I'll see you on our next voyage.